Cruising into Belfast Cruiseport? We're going to tell you about the must-see stops such as Titanic Museum and the Giant's Causeway, as well as iconic spots in the city center. We'll show you where to enjoy a proper whiskey tasting and the best way to get around. After 40-plus cruises, we know exactly what it takes to separate a rushed port of call from an unforgettable, stress-free good time.
Hi y'all, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Becky.
And together we're cruising good time. In this video, we'll break down all the key attractions both inside Belfast and outside of Belfast and give you really good hints on how to do a wonderful do-it-yourself walking tour within the city of Belfast.
We will also tell you how to get around the city. We recommend that you kind of break up your day into two things. Do one really big activity and go to the city center of town. So either do a do-it-yourself walking tour or take one of those famous black taxis. We're doing several videos on the British Isles, so subscribe so you don't miss anything. So first, let's start with those big attractions. So there is the Titanic Museum.
Yep.
Titanic Belfast. There are many different Titanic museums around the world, but this one is known as being the best one. Yeah. The Titanic Museum is located beside the Titanic slipways, the Harland and Wolff drawing offices, and Hamilton Graving Dock, the very place where Titanic was designed, built, launched. Titanic Belfast tells the story of Titanic from her conception through her construction and launch to her maiden voyage and subsequent place in history.
So there's actually one remaining vessel of the old White Star Line that is there in the dock, and you can visit that as part of the admission to the museum. It is just really comprehensive, though. It's a huge museum, probably the most comprehensive one in the entire planet.
And there are so many different tours that you can take from that. They have a lot of different options. Now, you can either buy something from your cruise line, or you can just go ahead and book those tickets online. If you're going to book them online, be sure to do it out ahead of time because some of these are going to be sold out. And you'll get a slight discount if you book them ahead of time.
The next really big attraction in Belfast is a geological phenomenon on the north side of the island called Giant's Causeway. It's about an hour north of Belfast on the north coast of Ireland that has all these columns that you can go out and walk on, and just it's really pretty cool. Just go take that in. Fabulous visitor center right there. Real easy to visit that. They have a lot of introduction about what the basalt is.
There's a pretty cool legend on how it got its name.
Supposedly, there was a giant named Finn McCool who lived in Northern Ireland, which is kind of a cool name. And he was in love with the giant over in Scotland, just north of there. So he built this causeway, a Giant's Causeway, because he was a giant, to go over and see the love of his life. And it's supported somewhat because there's the same type of phenomena over in Scotland on the south side facing Ireland right there.
This is a great place to go. We had so much fun. So we were there. The weather couldn't have been better. So gorgeous. And it's a pretty good walk from the visitor center down, but they also run a bus. But we enjoyed taking the walk both down the hill and back up.
A lot of shore excursions will also include several other side trips from Giant's Causeway. One of those is Dunluce Castle, old ruins right there on the north side of the shore. You may have seen some of that inside the TV show Game of Thrones. There's also a rope bridge close by that you can go walk over the rope bridge to a little island suspended several hundred feet above the water. And then there's Bushmills Distillery, which is really close to Giant's Causeway, and a lot of them will do some tastings or a quick little tour. Stop by the gift shop, if anything else, right there by Bushmills to go check that in.
Giant's Causeway is a UNESCO heritage site, and it did have some filming of the Game of Thrones. And there are Game of Thrones tours to be around that you could go find out there. In our video description, we have a link to Viator that has different shore excursions that could be useful from this port. And just to be transparent, we get a little bit of money if you utilize them, but it does not change the cost to you. Now, moving on to our next attraction, it is Crumlin Road Jail. This jail is over 150 years old. It was built in the Victoria era. It's the last one of this era in Northern Ireland. And you can do all these different tours, and you can go find these online and easily get there on your own.
Another easy way to do some tours are the black taxi tours. You can hire these in through Shore Excursion or through Viator, and they will take you around the city and give you the history of it, and they can be kind of intense.
Yes, they go into the political history. They're going to talk about the murals. They're going to go into details about the Troubles. A lot of people find these tours very, very intense. Another activity we love to do in Belfast is whiskey tasting. Now, Bushmills is only located a little over an hour at a time, and they offer amazing tours and a bunch of different ones. There's no way to get like good transportation out there unless you rent a car to get like a great big expansive tour. And we've mentioned before, some of the other tours will stop there and have little things. However, there are other wonderful options to do some whiskey tasting.
There certainly are, and one of those is McConnell's Distillery, and that is in the same jail that we just mentioned a minute ago, so you can kind of do a 2-for-1 right there. It's a fully operating distillery. You can go there. They have different types of tours you can take and then different levels of tasting based on the grade of the whiskey and all that.
And there's another distillery that's easy to get to, and that's over at Thompson's Pump House. Now, this is the Titanic Distillery. They also offer tours, a variety of tasting, and they are conveniently located on the docks where Titanic last sat before it was launched into the ocean. They also have some cool tours related to the Titanic and the dockyards.
Yeah. So that's a little add-on you could do. If you're doing the Titanic Museum, you can add that on without too much extra effort and enjoy that as well.
However, if you're an Irish whiskey connoisseur, you may want to go to the Friended Hand. There, they sell over 600 Irish whiskeys, and they have magnificent staff that are completely enthralled with the history of Ireland and with the whiskey. They offer some tastings that you're going to have to email to see if you can get into those. In addition to this wonderful selection, they also have a museum that has different artifacts about whiskey and Ireland. So if you don't get to do your tasting there, the owner has the Hart Bar just around the corner.
Just right around the corner. And also the Duke of York is also owned by the same organization. So those are also good places to go try some whiskey if you can't make it out there to the store.
So, and all these are located in the Cathedral District, which is well known for having a bunch of different pubs and bars if you wanted to do some bar hopping. If you'd love to go to markets, you may want to go to St. George's Market. Boy, this has been around a long time. It's won several different awards. However, it's only open on the weekends. You really need to check its hours before you head on over.
And there's also, if you're a museum buff, there's the Ulster Museum right there. They have the history and some science and all that right there in Belfast. If you like museums and want to see something beyond just a Titanic museum, it's something for you to perhaps take in as well.
So as promised, we're going to talk about our do-it-yourself tour. We were dropped off at City Hall. City Hall is a great big square. They have a sign that talks about all the sites that are close by. It's a really pretty area. There's gorgeous statues, and we walked through the Titanic Memorial Garden.
That whole area is just kind of fun to just kind of walk around and explore. It's a really neat architecture and a lot of shops and things to take in. The Opera House, a couple blocks away from City Hall, is just a phenomenal piece of architecture from the outside. We didn't have time to go in it, but the outside is just worth the walk just to take it in.
Yes, and then we walked over to an iconic pub, the Crown, or it could be called the Crown Saloon. That is amazing.
That was a hoot. I really enjoyed that. It was just the external architecture, the internal architecture. You go in there and it is packed. We got there right about quitting time for work, and you had to really work to get up to the bar to get a drink there. A lot of fun just to take that in. Everybody's real friendly and just having a good time.
They have a restaurant upstairs, and here's a very important tip that if you wish to eat at the restaurant, make reservations.
Yep.
We were very happy that we did. We had a fabulous meal.
We had some more traditional Irish food right there with some shepherd's pie and some stew, but it was just absolutely wonderful.
But we really enjoyed dinner, and it was the perfect end to a perfect day. We promised we were going to tell you about the best way to get around, and the answer is taxi. Now, the internet makes this sound more complicated than what we experienced. The internet talks about they have public taxis and private taxis. So for private taxis, they can only pick you up if you've ordered via the app or a few certain weird times like holidays.
The taxi is very easy to hail. We got done with the Crown at about 9:30 with dinner, and we need to get back to the ship. I asked the hostess where is closest taxi stand. She said right across the street, so we go across the street. We weren't in that taxi stand 5 minutes before a cab came by, picked us up, and took us right to the ship. So it was no problem at all getting a taxi right there to go back home. For the private taxis, the easiest way to do that is use the Free Now app. We have a link to that below.
The cruise ship will offer shuttles that can take you to and from. The timing on these, they shut down before we were ready to get back to the ship.
Yep.
And they were more expensive than just getting a taxi. And another benefit from the taxi is the conversation. And it's a very educational ride. We hope you've enjoyed this video.
If you liked the video, please give us a like and subscribe right now, because we have several videos coming out on the British Islands. We have a whole playlist out there, and you don't want to miss a thing while you go plan your British Isles cruise. So give us a subscribe right now.
And give us a hype. Until next time, have a cruising good time.